Welcome, everyone, to the Witchline. This is a sponsored game of Urban Shadows, sponsored by Magpie Games. I would love to welcome all of you to please check out this book. It is now fully released in print, a beautiful 300-page book. I'm sure a lot of you are recognize this from the quick start that has been available, and you might have previewed some of the awesome things in here. It comes with 2 settings that are fully furnished and available for you to host your own campaigns in. But we are going to jump right into it today. Welcome to the Witchline, episode 1 of 2. We're going to go around real quick and introduce everyone at the table. So please tell me who you are, where we can find you, and a little bit about who you're playing today. And we'll start off with Anna Margaret. Hello!
Hello, my name's Anna Margaret. You can find me everywhere on the internet at It's Anna Margaret. And today I am so excited to be living out my speakeasy vampire dreams as Celine. Celine owns a speakeasy and she looks a bit like she's from another time because she is. She's been around a fair amount of time and loves to just get to know people and relish in their emotions. And she clearly gets nothing from them, obviously.
Obviously, nothing at all. Thank you so
No, of
much.
course not. I'm just altruistic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're gonna head on over to Crit Bard. Hello!
Hello, everybody. My name's Omega Jones, also known as Crit Bard across all social media channels. My pronouns are he and they, and I am playing Orion, a hunter who is coming back home for reasons he does not want to. Life has been lifing, but now he has to do what he has to do to deal with and protect those who cannot protect themselves. Um, Very excited to be here. That's me.
Thank you so much. How ominous. I am sure we will find out more details of this interesting and dark past. But we will pop on over to Technique. Hi.
Hi, it's me, Technique or Frank. Goodness gracious, it's a pleasure being here. I finally get to play something I've been wanting to do for a long time. Is a modern setting. I don't. It's been a while, and I don't think. Actually, I think this might be the first real modern setting, dark modern setting that I got to do, and I'm really excited about it. So I play Adonis today, and he is got a little dark side to him, a little wild side, I should say, if you could put two and two together. But it's pretty close to home. Funny thing is, the location that we're looking at today, that Adonis is going to be around, is actually a place where I lived. Funny enough, I'm from Brooklyn, and it's really interesting that we're doing this. So I'm very excited to bring Adonis to life with this wonderful cast.
Thank you very much. And last but certainly not least, the one, the only, Vanna.
Hi, hello. How's it going? My name's Vanna or Havana. My pronouns are she, her. I stream part-time on Twitch and happy to be here doing some RPGs with Stella and crew today. And I'll be playing Olivia. Um, she is a oracle that at a young age developed her abilities and immediately began resenting them and has done her best to remain low key and unattached to anyone and everything. Because even objects and places tend to push their futures upon her. And she is gainfully employed at the Morgan Library and Museum, which she uses to hide out and eke out a living while trying to keep a low profile.
Excellent. And I am Stella Luna. You can find me on Twitch at Stella Luna and on all other social media as stellaluna.tv. I will be your MC or Master of Ceremonies for tonight. We are going to just jump right into it. In 1906, the construction of Mr. Morgan's library on Madison Avenue and 36th Street in Midtown Manhattan was completed. Its Italian Renaissance-style palazzo was seen as a pure expression of America's age of excellence. It served as a proud home to house rare materials in the span of its three-winged architecture, including manuscripts of historical value, old books, blueprints, master drawings, and relics of an ancient era. Over the years, it was institutionalized as a great cultural resource and, unbeknownst to the public, fell under the care of a Fae family. Though you do not know him by his true name, the fairy you have come to know as Arthur became indebted to you when you helped him prevent a massive fire that would have taken out the Morgan Library. Arthur has a funny way of twisting details and insisting that it's him doing you a favor, of offering you a place to live and work here at the library. But he hasn't proven to be too insufferable so far. The library opens at 10:30 in the morning and closes by 5, which means if you survive the rush at noon, the rest of the day is quiet once the front door is locked. You avoid Fridays. Free Fridays are the worst. But Monday, the library is closed, and there is a type of peace here in the tall, brocaded, book-lined walls that is hard to find elsewhere in New York City. But today, it's a Tuesday morning. The November air is crisp. The trees that line the streets below shudder as their naked branches shake free of their last leaves, as the new day paints honeyed pinks and oranges across stone and glass. A honk outside, beep beep, punctuates between the roaring of your alarm as it fills a cramped suite in the attic of the Morgan Library. Good morning, Olivia. It's time to get up for work. What do we see in the attic that you live in?
So, Olivia, having kind of shunned human intimacy, that worked for a really long time for her, but eventually places and objects started imposing the same sort of effect as human intimacy did. So she keeps her apartment very bare bones. Like, it is a very plain double bed, uh, basic neutral colors everywhere. There is maybe only 2 or 3 books in the room at a time, as she has access to a full collection at any moment. And there are no trinkets or no clutter whatsoever. Everything is has a use and a purpose, and she tries her hardest to leech the sentimentality from everything she keeps in her possession. So it's kind of a creepy space, actually. Someone going in there might be like, "Oh, this is a serial killer." Good, it's great. And her routine is also very similar, like very clean cut. And some people, they're like, "I have a slow morning and I get in touch with myself." All of it is very utilitarian for her, and a means to just get into the day and get to work and get it over with.
As you begin to glide down the many stairs to make it towards the main lobby of the library, what do you look like?
So Olivia also has a very simple dress code. I feel like there's a word for it when people like do the minimalist thing in their closet. They're like, I have 5 tops and they're all the same color. And I have this, one pair of pants. I just, wash it every day. And so she's wearing her there's no uniform at the museum, but this is her uniform of a simple low-key color cardigan, and then the rest is blacks, whites, beige, any sort of neutral button-up shirt. She always buttons it to the topmost, just keeps her as concealed and like hidden as possible. She always puts her hair back to try and limit attention. The only thing she really affords herself is some jewelry, and that even in of itself is very understated.
As you begin moving through the lobby, you approach the front desk and you go about organizing for the morning. You have about 20 minutes before you need to get to the front door, or when Arthur will finally arrive. And you see a couple of things that catch your eye. The first thing is a newspaper, very likely from yesterday, that's been left over by the night crew, the security that makes sure that nobody comes in and disturbs any of the important pieces here, and also an unusual package. The newspaper is unremarkable. You see broad headlines punctuating a massive number of food recalls recently, and there appears to be a brand new appointed CEO of Cyberberry, Scarlett Cunningham. But perhaps these things don't mean very much to you, and you look over towards this unusual package. At a glance, you can see that there is no return address, but it is clearly posted for the Morgan. This sort of thing isn't new to you, though. You know that the Morgan is known to receive supernatural relics and important texts to archive. In a way, the Morgan has become a type of a vault, or somewhere that you can access for information, or sometimes even treasures, magical things. It is meant to be a safe space. But there's something weird about this thing. What do we see Olivia doing as you perceive this?
I'm picturing her almost looking down at it, like her arms folded, tapping her foot, like considering what to do with it, like it's a child that's misbehaved or like, has been too loud in the library or something. Eventually they go behind the desk and pull on a pair of gloves. And then almost like it's something gross, pick it up off the floor and take it to the desk and kind of gingerly and almost like with a little bit of fear starts pulling off tape or string or whatever is holding it together.
Okay. As you are doing this, you feel a chill in the air. Something unnatural, almost as if an invisible hand touches the back of your neck. Can I get you to do our first roll for the evening?
Ah! Okay. What am I adding to it?
Please roll me your spirit. So in Urban
Oh,
Shadows, we have 4 stats. We have blood, heart, mind, and spirit. What is your spirit score?
My spirit is 1 and I rolled a 9, so I got a 10.
Okay, 10 is a pure success, essentially a crit. You know this feeling very well. You can explain to me in a moment how you know so much about ghosts and specters. But as you take a moment to exhale and slow your breathing, your perception slips between, and you realize that there are a number of ghosts hovering curiously around the package, watching and staring. You can barely perceive as one of them leans over your shoulder, watching you as you work. How does Olivia know so much about ghosts?
I think again it's because they spend so much time alone and like kind of shunning humanity. It's almost like she's done everything that they can to separate themselves from the human world, that maybe she pushed herself too far and now is too close to the veil because of how much she's tried to separate herself from the world of the living.
In your peripheral vision, you can see what looks like the grayscale image of what used to be an older white man in his 60s wearing a wool sweater and high-waisted tailor pants. In front of you is the visage of someone who used to be an Asian person in their late 20s with a shaved head, wearing a studded leather jacket, designer slacks, and a t-shirt with a smoking sheep on it. And very closely, hovering on your left, is a middle-aged woman with 2 long braids, wearing a trench coat, boots, and cat's eye glasses. None of the ghosts are looking at you. They're watching you work. And without much effort, you pluck it open. And inside this box, you find a clear plastic container in which there is a simple, very old rubber ducky. And
yeah, Olivia's definitely surprised with all of the the drum roll that the ghost, the package, the feeling had. This is definitely not something that they expected to be in this package.
You can see that one of the ghosts tries to reach in. Their fingers goes through the plastic container and touches the ducky, but it doesn't move, it doesn't react. Just phases through.
Can Olivia communicate with the ghosts?
You can certainly try. You can absolutely try, especially as an oracle. I think you can. We're going to say that this is going to be a let it out move. So whenever you
God.
want to do something that makes sense that your character could do, but isn't necessarily a move that exists, we will let it out. When you let out the power within you, choose an ability from your playbook and roll with spirit. We're gonna skip the ability with your playbook part here and just roll spirit. So that's gonna be a +1 to your 2d6. Please roll for me.
I got 11.
11. Okay.
Crits only in this house. Let's go.
Excellent. With a 10 plus, you get to ignore the corruption or complications, and essentially it goes off without a hitch. Can you describe to me what it looks like as you activate your ability to speak to ghosts?
I think as with any time she uses her abilities, it is motivated by reluctance. It is not something they want to do, but in this instance, perhaps she needs more information before interacting with this object. So Olivia sighs. What happens to be your interest with this object, dear visitors?
The middle-aged woman creases her brow and turns her head towards you. This ghost seems surprised that you are able to communicate. You get the sense that ghosts, especially these in general, they typically assume that no one can communicate with them and they just kind of float on, phantoms of a previous time. But the woman exhales, and in an unnatural breath, she says, "This was the last thing that we left in the house. We don't know what happened with it. It came from a studio, I think."
What kind of studio?
Sesame Avenue? Legally distinct? Don't sue me. Don't sue me. She says, "I think it comes from the 90s. A long, long time ago." I'm sorry. I'm trying to be serious.
Stella.
Okay, look, I wrote a bunch of lore about it. Like, this is actually a really cool thing. I promise you. I promise you it's not a
Okay.
bit.
Well, what do you need with it now?
Closure. Don't get it wet. And as you hear that, the distinguishable shrill tones of Arthur bitching about something emanates from the other side of the front door, and you hear a jingling of keys. When you blink up, you see the ghosts are gone.
Can I drop the box and kick it under the desk?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You hear a and then a scratch of plastic as you hide and obscure this. Meanwhile, before this happens, Yasmin struggles to keep awake with the rhythmic rocking of the subway train. There's a voice overhead mumbling something about line maintenance and posted reroutes, but it's blown out over the speaker, and it's hard to hear over the irritable yammering of some youths on the other side of the train car. Yasmin yawns as she paws at her face, wearily looking over at Orion, her hazel eyes ringed with dark circles that cut deep grooves into her brown face. Her short, shoulder length hair is half down, half pulled up into two buns. She's dressed in a long leather coat that does well to hide her hunter weapons, and she uses a booted foot to push her duffel bag out of the way as a stroller as out of the way of a stroller as someone maneuvers towards the double doors, waiting for it to open as the train car slowly rolls to a stop at 34th Street. Orion, this subway car stinks. Roll me wild, please.
That is the most random thing you can ask me to roll. Wild? Wild.
Yes.
Okay. Love that.
So, in this game, there are 4 circles. We have Mortalis, which will cover essentially mortals and the awakened, the aware, hunters and veterans. We have Night, which includes specters and vampires and werewolves. We have Power, who has the sworn, wizards, and oracles. And then Wild, which include the fae, the imps, and the tainted. What
That
is
is that is a 7 total.
7 total? You look around the train car here, and there is a scent of rotten eggs, sulfur. And you are clearly aware that one of the passengers here is an imp, a demon. But they aren't quite so visible. You aren't able to, from where you're currently standing or sitting, detect them entirely. As you're looking around, what do we see? What does Orion look like?
We see the camera kind of shunt out and in reverse and look upon this dark-skinned black man, mid-30s. He seems to be. There's a clear 5 o'clock shadow upon his face, though his mustache is much more prominent. Um, the most striking thing immediately before you look at anything else, though, are the 3 gash marks that are going across his face diagonally. Seem to be some kind of animal attack at some point in life. The way that it's kind of a muted tone, almost just like a slightly darker variant of his own skin, hence that it's been there for quite some time. This is not a new attack. Also showing through the fact that one of his eyes is a bluish gray tone, and the other, the right eye, is a well, it does no longer has color. Not really. He's not completely blind in that eye, but clearly the pale, almost fogginess of the eye, hence that the attack went through and that did not heal as well as it could have. Dark hair as well. He's wearing almost a biker type of jacket, dark black in make. Can't really tell what's underneath it, but you hit the shirt underneath doesn't necessarily look like it's made of cotton. I will say that. Wearing dark jeans, boots with the jeans cuffed into the boot itself. Um, Again, baggy enough that things are also hidden upon him. He wears fingerless gloves, a couple of rings. There's a chain around his neck. Um, Very gruff disposition. Looks like he's already over it. And he is. Indeed, he is. As he begins to look around and just sigh, a long, exasperated sigh. Um, his fingers almost itching to grab something, but that's not why he's here. Um, and he'll just kind of. Is Yasmin across from him?
Yes.
Yeah. He'll just kind of like look up at her, staring long enough to actually get attention, versus just a glance. This person he's known for quite some time, but he would just mumble under his breath, "We ain't alone, but don't worry about it. Unless they cause trouble, we ain't gonna cause them trouble." That ain't why we here.
You see the sleepiness slowly rub off of Yasmin's face as they come to realize what you're saying. She looks around, her eyes scanning the crowd a little casually, and it hooks onto an individual, perhaps about 6, 7 seats down the car from you. And you can see that there's an individual here who is dressed in a baggy set of tracksuit. They are black in color and wearing these bright red shoes. This man has pale skin and has dark brown hair that is kind of shaggy and a poor cut. They haven't had a maintenance in a while, and they appear to be quietly munching away on chips. Yasmin
Um,
tilts her head in that direction.
he'll look over, seemingly looking at the chips because it's the subway in New York City, and things are strange. And also, that strangeness is very normal. So looking over isn't really going to cause problems. However, he does try to find moments to just observe. As I literally want to watch them closely, which is one of my moves available to me. When you watch or observe, when you closely observe a supernatural person or creature, I roll with blood. On a hit, you tell me a bit about their nature and at least one unusual weakness or flaw, and I can take a 1 ongoing when you take advantage of these unique vulnerabilities. On a 10 plus, I can ask a follow up question. On a miss, something takes advantage of me instead. So let's hope I don't fail, but that's what I would like to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and roll blood, please.
Thank you. And my blood is a 2.
Very good.
Uh,
Oh no! You rolled maximum values, right? That's the only reasons you would look like
It's
that.
opposite day. It's opposite day. I rolled 2 1s.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's a total of a 4. Ooh, I didn't know that I'd be able to
That
cause some
is
chaos.
wild. That is wild. Just to say that out loud. It's fine.
Okay. So perhaps you are staring a little harder than you realize. And as you're watching this man with his chips, all of a sudden his head leans to the side and his eyes roll over lazily to you, staring pointedly, almost challengingly. And without really an extra moment, you realize he knows exactly what you are. He can smell the carnage in the wake of your presence. And he just smiles. He seems arrogant. He seems powerful. You get the sense that engaging him here is an absolutely terrible idea. And almost as if to punctuate that, you hear a of the crying of the nearby stroller as the baby's mother just, oh, it's all right. It's all right. We're almost there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's definitely a soft growl, not an animalistic one necessarily, just I will still try you if I really wanted to. But again, not his job, not why he's here. He just wants to know. In a world that is filled with those around every corner who might want to make your life a living hell, it's just good to have an eye and understanding. And while he's been clocked, which he doesn't really care for, probably Yasmin's making fun of him because of that. He just kind of shakes his head and he'll look back to Yasmin, and then probably just kind of just bide his time, waiting to their stop so they can get to where they need to go.
You're waiting for the train to come to a stop, and as you do, the individual, the imp here, begins to slowly slide up. And as he's walking past you, he's staying on the car, but just literally moving to the other side. He leans in and inhales the scent of you and gives a
I will
chuckle.
send yo fuck ass down to the 9 hells as quickly as I wish. Do not try me right now.
I would like to see you try. And he simply sits down and continues eating his chips. Yasmin elbows you very gently and says, looks like we're here. This is our stop. as the doors open and the woman begins to lead the stroller out.
That's a hesitation to get up, um, but he'll get up, um, crack his neck, grab the bag that he has next to him, put the strap around him, of course, and as he stands, he'll just look back down. This is your one. I don't give you another. And he will begin to walk.
As you exit the car, you just hear the crunching of chips. Yasmin picks up the duffel bag and shoulders it as she begins to lead you out of the underground subway station and up to the surface. She takes out a cigarette and begins to light it, and as she does, she looks over at you. I don't understand why we have to play nice with this fairy. He's been an absolute pothole over the last week. Like, yeah, I get that his library is great and has a bunch of books and shit, but it's like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Unfortunately, this ain't Philly. We don't have a lot of inn back home. I mean, and he pauses after he says that because the realization that he is back home is setting hard as he gets off of this train. But he shakes it off. And for now, he is our best bet, even though I don't like him.
As you're walking, Yasmin occasionally steals a glance over at you. You get the sense that she's been keeping a close eye on you. She seems to realize that there are a few things that have been left unburied here, and there's a nervousness in the way her eyes flick back from you and to the crowd in front of you as you begin navigating in the direction of the Morgan Museum. It's only a few blocks away, but you can see Arthur before you see the silhouette of the building. From a distance, Arthur appears to be wearing a drab brown-orange two-piece suit, and it brings out the freckles on his pale cheeks and nose. He's pinched his phone to his face with his shoulder, and he's fumbling around with keys as he begins to head towards the Morgan Library and Museum. Oh, fuck. I was hoping we didn't have to deal with him today.
He's a damn fae. We always have to deal with him.
Hey, Arthur! And you see Yasmin lazily lifts up her hand, and there is a soft jangling of keys as Arthur drops them. And he mumbles underneath his breath and looks up like a deer in headlights over towards you, Orion. Oh, bloody hell.
Old friend. And he says that with a bite because, again, he does not like Arthur, but he's playing nice.
You see that Arthur wrinkles his nose and he jabs the hang up button on his phone. He quickly stoops down and just swipes the keys back up and says directly to you, I told you I don't know anything about anyone named Edgar. You can use our books as much as you like, but no, you cannot use any of our divining relics. You simply lack the clearance, the authority, and honestly, the charisma to persuade me.
I don't need charisma. And you see him just like lift a part of his jacket, and you just see a pistol that is currently stowed. But I'm not going to use that right now because you, again, are not my enemy. You're my friend. So I'm going to ask you. We just need a couple of books, a couple of, hell, scrolls or whatever you got that's archaic back here. We know that Edgar's around. We just don't know where.
No. And you can hear the scraping of metal as he begins futzing with the door here, trying to open it. Olivia, you can hear from the other side, Arthur, as he slowly struggles with it and appears to be yelling at somebody.
Oh, okay. Can Olivia go to the door, and they act like they're helping, but they kind of know there's a possibility if Arthur's leaning into the door, he might fall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
I think, Olivia, stop it, Olivia. I think you're locking it. I'm trying to unlock it.
Oh, sorry.
Here, you can do it. And you hear the key being pulled back from the door. And you can see the shadow of Arthur leaning away.
Is it unlocked now?
Yeah. You can unlock it.
Okay. She will hold it open for him.
And he enters with a huff, not even looking back. And you can see trailing after him is Orion and Yasmin, as you've seen them several times over the past week, and as they have generally been allowed to enter into the Morgan before and after hours. Arthur huffs over towards the main desk and begins to busy himself with things and stuff so that he doesn't have to talk to them.
I think that as he begins to walk in, he sees that Olivia is here, which he assumed. Timing things out very specifically. You'll see him reach into the bag that he has, and he'll pull out a crumpled brown bag. And he'll open up that brown bag, and you'll see it's probably like a cranberry orange muffin inside. And he'll just look at it and then crumple it back up and then hand it. That's a mini payment for the audacity that is Arthur, but also letting us use the space. And also he knows what Olivia is, and he has a soft spot, very soft one.
Olivia takes it and they try very hard not to smile. And kind of puts it on the desk without looking at it again. What area were you needing to access today?
He actually looks at Yasmin for a moment. I'm like, at this point, maybe even fiction. Just some of the more older texts that you have.
You
We
see
have plenty of those.
Yasmin kind of side-eyes Orion. I didn't know you had breakfast.
You didn't ask.
Older texts, maybe a locator spell or something.
That too. He's trying not to be so blunt about what they need.
Yeah.
But at this moment, no one's really around, so there's no point to really hide it.
So I imagine, Stella, there's like a secret room or a basement or something. Where did you have in mind that sort of this arcane ephemera was kept?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a fireplace in one of the side rooms, and in that fireplace is a secret lever that leads you down into an ancient basement underneath the museum, which is an armory of some sorts.
Yes. Follow me.
Thank you.
Head to the fireplace. I think it's like it kind of looks like in the pictures it's like this fake like metal embossed like thick sheet that is made to look like a fireplace. And then a lever is pulled in front of it and it slides upwards. And they just say, "Mind your head." And they crawl under the mantle.
Yeah, he's probably like 6'1", 6'6".
Jesus, just 6'1".
I mean, I'm
Casually.
6'4", so I don't really know what the difference is.
How tall is Olivia?
I don't know, 5'5".
He will just do a slight nod. Slight duck. As he will head in. And as he's walking, just whispering, we know that to Yasmin, and not whispering enough that Olivia can't hear it. He's just not being loud necessarily. We know we got a ping. Obviously that they're here. We just don't know where. Locate a spell, maybe. Seeing if any of the other powers might know. We can also threaten them, considering who we are, but we don't need to get that far, I don't think.
We're trying to keep a low profile, the thing that we're hunting. And I imagine that Orion and Yasmin have been really cryptic about what exactly it is that they're looking for so far.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that we're looking for is dangerous, has a bad history. We just want to make sure nothing happens to innocent people here.
Well, and if you know who still has that thing, then we got to find them before anything else happens.
Mm-hmm. The
Um,
thing. Yeah.
Right, the thing. It's very helpful.
it is. He says, just point blank.
I imagine the next like 30 minutes, it's very difficult. Olivia, you're trying to help them, but they're being very cagey with the details. And I imagine that after about 30 minutes of squirreling about in different nooks and crannies of what appears to be a dusty plethora of shelves of things and stuff and books and weapons, you hear a as Arthur appears in one corner of the room and looks at you, Olivia, pointedly, using their head and chin to gesture you over.
Olivia lets out a titular sigh and walks over to Arthur.
Arthur
Sir.
lowers his voice. Olivia, I want you to get rid of Orion. Do whatever it takes. Please do me this favor. I cannot stand him. If I have to suffer another week, I don't know what I will do.
Well, sir, I'm mostly the one dealing with them. How is it affecting you?
Nah, if I have to host another week of entertaining them and having them stomp through these ancient sacred grounds, oh, the audacity of it all. Look, maybe take them somewhere else. You go to various haunts and have friends, right? Maybe they can help.
Well, the library is supposed to be a resource. Sir.
Resources can be limited. They can be
They
finite.
can be. They can be.
Mm.
Are you suggesting ours are finite? That would kind of hint at your ability to keep providing for the library and our collection. Have you reached your peak?
You can see in his eyes, they're screaming yes. But he bites his tongue. He doesn't say it out loud. And he says, Olivia, you are a clever person. For all your qualities, I would say that resourceful is one of them. Figure out. In return, I will do you a favor. And as he says that, you know that's favor with a capital F. Being a denizen of this supernatural world, you know that owing someone a debt is incredibly powerful. That is the currency in which the shadow world operates. It is more powerful than money. It is more powerful than anything else that you can garner. Having people in your pocket, especially a fairy, especially a director of a museum, that could prove useful.
Only if we shake on it.
Yes, yes, if you need me to spit, I can. If you want me to write out a contract, fine, yes. Anything. Just get them out of my hair.
Please, no spitting.
Fine.
And she'll reach out her hand.
He shakes your hand, and his hand is clammy, and his fingers are very bony. It's not a very satisfying
It
handshake.
doesn't need to be a long handshake. Thank you, sir.
Right.
I
Well-
will take care of it.
Good. I must go attend to the front desk. And he just kind of leaves.
Olivia turns around and walks back over to, is it Yasmin?
Mm-hmm.
Yasmin and Orion. And just goes, it seems our efforts here are proving rather fruitless. Perhaps there is somewhere else in town that we can try our efforts.
You see him like holding like a ball type of spherical thing, trying to understand what the heck this might be. But clearly
don't hold
failing.
that close to your face.
That makes me want to hold it even closer.
Well, do you want to keep your other eye or?
touche. And he just puts it down. um, uh, puts it down and looks. Do you have any suggestions? We're trying to be as inconspicuous as possible. We have other means of attaining, but we would rather not incite too much in my old haunt.
Um, do you think, Stella, maybe I would take them to Adonis or Celine?
Yeah, you would know that there are a couple of different places you can go. Adonis is the manager of the PLGCC, the community center in PLG. You know that Celine is the owner and operator of the Speakeasy, which is found inside of the Mercury Cafe. These are both very awesome and powerful choices. Probably the Mercury Cafe is a bit more discreet, though. The community center does have individuals that are unaware of the supernatural world, whereas the Speakeasy, once you get into the private part of it, the private access, it is almost exclusively full of supernatural people.
Okay. I have a friend that owns an establishment with some more seasoned patrons. But if I'm going to take you there, you have to mind your manners.
He like gives Olivia a look like, first of all, how dare you? One, two, how dare you again? But he again, low growl. I
Do you
always mind my
understand?
manners.
Do you understand my meaning, though?
He will make sure that every weapon that's on him, some have not been revealed yet, stay hidden. I understand what you're asking. We are not barbarians. We deal with who needs to be dealt with. And right now, I doubt your friend or whoever needs to be dealt with. Am
I'm
I
not
correct?
worried about her. More so, some of her patrons can be a bit unsavory, but she certainly won't accommodate us if we get rid of her clientele.
As long as her clientele don't attempt to get rid of us.
I think we can arrange that.
I can put my hands in my pockets. Don't worry.
Perfect. Well, let's catch a cab.
Yes.
And Olivia kind of shudders at that because the cab drivers always talk to you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They want to work for that tip. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So as you're waiting for the cab outside of the Morgan Library, you can see that it is starting to get dark. Meanwhile, the city skyline of southern Manhattan falls into a mystifying haze as the clouds begin to thicken, heavy and dark, threatening to crack open and storm over Brooklyn. Prospect Park is an earthy brown with most of its leaves shed, the last few stubborn yellow leaves waving in the air as if to say goodbye as the wind picks up. East of Prospect Park, Empire Boulevard is wide awake and in full swing, cars beeping, beep beep, as they scuttle past construction signs and service vehicles. A brand new 4-story building with wide windows overlooks a freshly minted basketball court and soccer field. Paint snakes across the flat stone surface in an epic mural that spans the entire height of this building, a testament to many hands contributing to a marriage of shapes and design in an explosion of color. It is another busy day at PLGCC. The leaders of supernatural territories have become increasingly aggressive over the last few months, and they have been an absolute headache for Adonis. Adonis, what do you look like, and where do we find you at the community center?
Mm, mm. Trying to push down a sandwich some old lady gave me that always comes by with food, and I think the sandwich got sat on at one point. But you know what? I take it because who am I to say no to her? the community has came together, and I'm wearing a jacket, and it's getting a little bit chillier at night, you know, when the wind blows through the city. And I have a whole bunch of papers in my hand, but they're flyers for a community basketball tournament that's gonna be put together. I thought it was a good way to pull the kids together and also keep your eye on the city at the same time. So on my patrols, I'm gonna go around and staple the flyers and greet the kids as they come by, and make sure that they know, hey, don't stay out too late. It's getting dark. All right, mind your parents. Okay. All right, you check C block for me. Good, good, very good, very good. Communicating with the adults as they understand our code talk around the city. I'm dressed as a normal patron. I run a community center, so it's always, you never know when a basketball or one of those good old fashioned red balls get thrown at your head, and you got to kind of catch it and throw it back, not get too upset, knowing that the kids are running around. Hey, don't do that! And grab them by the back of their hoodie, and spin them around as they laugh and point, and go play together. And I kind of pat them on the leg and go get him, go get him, go get him, go get him. And I mean, I'm just going around, just clickety clacking on like light poles, cork boards, walls, anywhere I can hang a flyer. Community tournament, remember? All right, yeah.
Hey,
Bring your mom.
I'll be there, I promise. And you
Good,
look
all right.
over and you see Corey. You know, Corey is a regular, a local, lives in the nearby area. He's 5'10", a mixed guy in his early 20s. You see light brown skin and short, dark hair that's messy and points in every single direction. He's wearing sweats right now, sneakers, and most noticeably, he's wearing a bright blue muscle shirt with the sleeves cut off, a collage of 3 wolves photoshopped together on the front of it. He is absolutely not dressed for the weather. And you recognize Corey is a wolf, just like you. And he runs hot. Hey,
Corey.
Mr. A, how you doing?
Uh, you don't know the word subtle, do you?
Nah, look, And he begins to jog in place. I'm an athlete, you know?
Yeah, you're an athlete, right? Real strong. And I'll slap some flyers on his chest. Help
Ugh.
me out a bit.
All right.
Community tournament, pulling together the kids, all right? Don't be flashing all that all around. You got to be, as careful as possible. The territories have been pretty bad lately. You want to keep this one safe.
Oh, yeah? And he walks with you and he holds the flyers. He occasionally flexes his muscles, and he's pretty ripped for a guy in his early 20s. He keeps himself cut, and he says, "What do you mean? I haven't really heard much about that."
We're on the street, things are getting kind of weird, all right? The problem is the streets are too quiet. You understand?
Oh,
Of course not.
isn't quiet something that we want?
It- I just kind of like hold my words back and keep stapling. Yes, we want quiet, but too quiet means things are weird. Of Brooklyn, it needs to be loud and absurd. We need to be able to hear all the rumors and all this, all the whispers.
Uh-huh.
I smell something on the horizon, man. Something's not right.
I see. And he leans forward and he staples a flyer right underneath yours as the two of you are walking. You're currently walking down the street, and you can see that on either side of you, this large stone walls and a construction, essentially like wall made out of wood, essentially proving as a barricade around what is a construction site to keep people from getting hurt. They are painted, tagged with all sorts of colors and shapes and little signatures here or there, cartoon characters. It is vibrant. It is beautiful. There is so much character in this area. And Corey is very careful not to cover someone's tag as he leans over and staples another flyer. Well, he sniffs the air. I don't smell anything. I smell a storm. It's probably going to rain later today.
That's because you're young. You gotta be a little bit more marinated in the world before you understand what I'm talking about. But just keep your ears open.
All right. And as he's walking along with you, you hear his phone go off, and it is a really thumpy rap song as he reaches over and flicks it open. Hey, what's good? Uh-huh. Yeah, no, I'm with Mr. A. Putting up some flyers. Community basketball event, right? Yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tournament.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tournament. Bring your friends,
Mm.
Yeah. Huh? What do you mean? What? And he lowers his phone and he says, Mr. A, it seems like there's some trouble over at the Mercury Cafe.
Trouble? Yeah?
Do you want me to
Now?
go? I can go.
No, absolutely not.
Look, I can marinate all I can over there, I'll soak
Yeah,
it up.
exactly. Out practicing fucking up these flyers up on that board over there and over there. Go down the C block and make sure it's all right. And when you're done, head back to the community center, man. Some guys were talking about taking you on the basketball court, and I only mean that in way of basketball. Check yourself, okay? All right.
All right,
Looking
all right.
good.
All right. Be careful, okay?
Yeah. And I look at my phone and I'm just like, come on. Pull myself together. I look back at Corey and I shake my head and I smile and I look at the tag. A little smirk. Toss the toothpick out of my mouth into the trash can next to me and then make my way down to the speakeasy.
Okay. You can hear Corey speak into the phone. Yeah, Mr. A is on it. He's on the way. And then he continues down the street and you can see that he resumes stapling the flyers. Several blocks over, in comparison to the community center, a much more tempered establishment weathers yet another storm as the weather turns and it begins to rain. This humble building, which was once a taqueria, then an Ethiopian place a decade later, then several generations as a Caribbean restaurant, more recently a Chinese takeout place by an old Vietnamese man, known especially for its special combo meal, which comes with a voucher to Benedict's Fried Chicken down the street, is now known as the Mercury Cafe. What does the outside of the Mercury Cafe look like?
It's unassuming. The sign that's on the top of like the kind of the top of the building looks like it was hand painted because it was. And so Mercury Cafe is spelled out in what's trying to be really pretty calligraphy, but really it's just a lot of swirls. And there's lots of kind of polka dots in the letters to make them look more interesting. And stars are kind of hastily painted on there, forming some constellations. And but even from the outside, you can notice the glow of lights from within and kind of the ornate trinkets hung up above the windows. And there's a welcoming warmth that comes from the building, even though it does look like maybe a strong wind might do some damage to the exterior.
As the camera slowly pans through the establishment, we see that there's a line of people wearing all sorts of clothes and colors, and it maneuvers back through the kitchen, and then there is a red door that leads into the underground speakeasy, which has been around since before Prohibition. As we enter the red door, Celine, what does the speakeasy look like?
As you walk through this red door, it feels like you're getting transported to another place. There, there's a sense of magic as you cross the threshold. The glow of the red lights casts this eerie light all throughout the space. There's string lights hung all around the ceiling, and the floor is a dance floor. There's a small stage in the corner, and there's always music playing. You have to set the mood, yeah? And chairs line all four walls, all except the stage, so people can lounge around or dance in the middle. Tucked behind the stage is where Celine is right now, kind of
Yes.
hiding away in some cushions.
With it being the early afternoon, I imagine that Celine is probably asleep. The speakeasy itself would absolutely have every protection against the sun and any other outdoor things that could potentially affect you.
Of
But
course.
It is early afternoon. What do we see Celine doing in your private room?
Even though I can't sleep, I do need my beauty rest. And so I'm kind of lounging in some pillows, listening in on the conversations happening around on the other side where the band's playing. And there's lots of cushions around me, and I'm idly scrolling on probably Facebook. Maybe I'm clinging to my MySpace still. It might come back. Trends often do. I've got kind of a curly bob and definitely not dyed blonde hair. I've denied it for decades. I'm not going to own up to it now. And I'm wearing kind of like a day jacket. I'm I'm very happy because fashion it does have ways of kind of coming in circles, and thankfully we're getting back to the good stuff, the nice sleeves, the dancing, we're finally coming back around. There's at least a cult following of those vintage styles that I love so much. And I love I love kind of hearing what people are doing near me, so I imagine if there's anybody having a tense conversation or having like kind of a deep moment. I want to sort of be a part of it. I don't have headphones in. I'm definitely listening and enjoying the music, tapping my foot a little as I am sleeping or resting through the
Sleeping.
day.
Yes. Uh, you are, as you eavesdrop, let's get a roll from you here. This will be a spirit roll.
Oh, my worst trait. So that is a 9 minus 1 for an 8.
Okay, an 8. So this will be a success with a complication. You can hear some voices on the other side. You can instantly recognize one of them to be a regular, Yuri, the wizard that has been occupying this corner of Brooklyn for quite some time now. You know that he works very closely with Adonis and that he prides himself in trying to help protect the area and uses his magic, mostly shield magic from what you've seen. You can see that you can hear him speaking to someone on the other side of the wall, and he seems to be raising his voice. You can't quite make out the exact words, but you also hear three other voices that you don't recognize. They appear to be escalating in intensity and seem to be shouting to each other. All of a sudden, you hear a frenzied knock, 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 knock at your door.
What is it?
Hey, Celine, there's a situation out here, and you hear the voice of Monty, another vampire who works here at the Speakeasy.
Monty, you know that I don't like to be disturbed when I'm sleeping.
Yeah, well, listen, we're trying. Okay, okay. We'll try our best.
Uh,
Sorry.
well,
Get your rest.
high emotions are good. That's what we want. That's why we have people here for their emotions. But don't let it get violent.
Okay, all right. And you hear footsteps receding as Monty scurries away, and you could hear the dull murmur, murmur, murmur through the wall as Monty begins to speak with them. The emotions are high. As this is happening, what do you imagine emotion smells like? What does it feel like as it drifts through the air, leaks between the door jamb, and enters into your domain?
Most people think that vampires only thirst for blood, and they would be sorely mistaken. Emotions taste, they feel even sweeter. As you can sort of hear the voices raised in the other room, I feel a burning in the back of my throat that just slowly eases a little. There's always a burn, but when people really feel something, passion of all sorts, it's intoxicating. As I hear these voices, like especially as now, Monty goes to try to calm them down. I feel like I'm almost pulled involuntarily. I didn't want to be disturbed, but I kind of want to be a part of this. And I find myself gravitating towards the door.
As you're stepping towards the door, you can taste jealousy, you can taste anxiety. There's just a small peppering of fear, and there's a deep, deep resentment lingering in the air. What do these things smell like to you?
You know, smell and taste, they're really intertwined, and I I do find myself typically more drawn towards the sweeter warm emotions, but this fear, that's spicy. It's like a heat that I'm interested in. I'm starting to kind of smell and back when I was human, I mean, I hardly remember it, but I remember I used to love spicy food. That kind of burning you feel in your nose and like in your mouth almost as you start to smell the heat of maybe a green chili or something kind of warm there, and I I my mouth's watering. I'm ready to open the door.
Okay. I would like you, if you're okay with it, to use one of your moves. I think this
I'd
will
love to.
count as feeding on emotions as you're tasting the air as you're approaching. You have a move called Eternal Hunger.
I do, and that's because I do hunger for human emotions. And so when I feed on somebody, I roll blood. Is that correct?
Yes. So go ahead and
Okay.
roll blood for me.
Okay. So blood, I add 1, 2. So I have a 7.
Okay. On a 7, you will choose two of these options. Number 1, you heal 1 harm or take +1 forward. So, what that means is moving forward in this scene, you just have a pocket +1 that you can just throw onto whatever roll that you want to do. Another option is you learn a secret about your prey. Another one is your prey doesn't suffer 3 harm. Yeah, those are your options.
I don't there's no fighting allowed in my speakeasy. That's how you get hunters called on you. That's how people they start talking. I don't want a bad reputation. This is a nice place. This is a safe place. So nobody takes any harm. But I do want to know everything I can about these people. Why are they fighting? Who's jealous? Are they jealous of me? I mean, they should be. I want to know the secrets.
Excellent. As you begin to open the door, you can see that there are 3 individuals standing. You see slowly hovering just on the edge is Monty, just staying a bit out of the way. Monty is a lanky, 6 foot tall, extremely pale guy in his 20s, eternal 20s, with plaid pants, red hair, and a smart jacket and chucks. Very fashionable, tries to match your aesthetic, but is all a bit on the more modern side here. You know him to be a younger vampire, and he just can't help but go with the trends and all the fashionable things here. But further off, hovering near one of the VIP areas, is an individual that you haven't seen before. This appears to be a fairy. You can see that they are a curvy white woman with blonde hair pulled back into a high pony. She's wearing loose red blouse, black pants, and black pumps. She is shouting, pointing at a person that you see is pale and gaunt with greasy brown hair slicked back, wearing a dark button up with lace embellishment and tailored pants. The two of them are yelling at each other. Heated argument. You can taste the spiciness in the air. You learn that these two are supernatural individuals. The woman is a fairy, and this man is an imp. And the third person that you recognize is Yuri.
I'm going to link my arm through Monty's. Monty, darling, I don't recognize these people. Did you let them in?
Yeah, I did. They said that they needed a private conversation. Um, there was another person with them. Where did they go? And you see Monty's looking around, confused. There was a human.
A human. I I'd like to look around too.
Okay.
I'm not going to interfere with the argument. It tastes delicious, but I do want to. Where's this human?
Yes, as you begin looking around for the human, let's get another roll from you. This will be a mind roll.
All right. 5.
5. Okay. It takes you
5
some
plus 0 for 5.
Okay. It takes you some time to look around. You are preening over the different nooks and crannies of the speakeasy, and you head over towards the bathroom. It takes you about 10 minutes before you get there, and by the time you get in there, you find that there is a dead human body in one of the stalls.
Uh, uh, I find myself speechless. There should not be violence in this establishment. I immediately reach for my pocket to try to grab my phone, which I've misplaced. These new pieces of technology are useless. Monty,
Monty comes rushing in. Yeah, what
what is this?
uh you found them? That was the human that came with the fairy and the imp.
Call. You're going to need to call somebody. We need help.
Okay. And he steps off to the side and begins calling. And you hear him say, "Hey, Corey. Hey, there's a situation. Yeah. Oh, nice, Mr. A. Okay. Um, hey, there's a situation over here." And as he kind of steps away and has this conversation, you hear a blast. It sounds like compressed air shooting out into a small pocket space, echoing off of the walls of the speakeasy. And I imagine you rush towards it. And as you
Daintily.
daintily,
You have
of
to
course,
appear like you're not running.
of course, yes.
I step to the music, but I get there very quickly, yes.
You can see Yuri has stepped in and has activated his shield. You see a shimmering dome separating both the Fae and the Imp here as they are jabbing at the wall, trying to speak and yell at each other. You see Yuri is a 5'8" guy in his 40s wearing an old dark gray zip-up hoodie, baggy jeans, and a pair of running shoes. As he's gesturing and casting the spell, you see breaking loose from in between the zipper of his hoodie, he wears a heavy bronze chain with a circular pendant that appears to be made out of moonstone. You know, Yuri, the wizard, has some kind of a history. There are old burn scars that crawl up the side of his body, and you can see them peeking up along the side of his face here as he's trying to, "No, you need to stop this. Please, behave yourselves. This is not the location to have this conversation." And he's trying to de-escalate the situation here.
It looks like Yuri's got it under control for the moment. And so I'm going to try to find my cellular device that I keep for moments like this to contact people when we need to have people removed. So I'm going to attempt to find that. I'm
Okay.
like
Yeah.
clocking Yuri, going back to my space, and I'm going to try to find my phone.
Yeah, you go back into your private space, you eventually find it, and you hear more sounds. You hear the sound of wood cracking and breaking out in the main.
Oh
in the
my gosh. I'm running now.
Yeah, you can see that Yuri has been thrown to one side of the room, and you witness as the Fae lifts up her hand, a roiling green energy emitting from her fingertips as she slams it in the face of the imp. The imp,
Uh,
Yeah, go ahead.
can I try to intervene at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
I assume that there's other patrons here.
Yes, you can see a lot of them are beginning to either exit or are trying to cower and obscure themselves. They don't want attention drawn to
So
them here.
we're in my neighborhood. Would you be okay if I use my in my neighborhood ability and do something to be like call some allies to be like help step in with me? We need to separate them.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see that there are quite a few regulars peppered throughout the room here. What do you want to say to rally them?
These two are casting such a negative light on this afternoon. We need to remove them from the premises. We're getting aid coming hopefully any moment. I'll glance down at my phone. But in the meantime, there's there's a door for a reason for people to exit.
You see a few vampires emboldened by your rally here begin to step up and they're trying to intervene. You see the Fae whip around and she hits one of the vampires in the face with her hand, and you see immediately the skin beginning to desiccate and flake as this withering power begins to destroy the life force of this person. They scream.
Oh my gosh. I'm
And-
going to try to call Adonis again.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you see at the same time, the imp rolls over and he pulls at the skin of his face. He rips it off, and you can see that his demon visage becomes visible. This hardened appearance of leathery skin, just as the door bursts open. Adonis, you arrive, and there is just a full-on fight inside of the
Thank the
speakeasy.
heavens you're here.
What's going on? What
What
happened?
do you think?
Oh! I'm just looking around and in shock that everything's happening in such a place where things just it's the ultimate rule. You don't put your hands on anyone in here. You don't disrespect Celine. And as I walk in, I'm twitching because the adrenaline in the air is starting to catch a whiff on me. I'm trying to compose myself as much as I can. So my speech is a little bit more me swallowing and breathing heavy, and I'm like, can we please calm down, stop the violence, and I'll walk in the middle and I'll stand directly in front of do I notice anyone first? Do I notice Yuri or
Yeah,
anyone that I know?
you recognize Monty and you recognize Yuri. The other people are total strangers to you.
Adonis,
Is
love, these two, I don't know who they are, and they need to get out of here.
all right, I got you. I start to unzip my jacket and I walk towards Yuri. And I see, is Yuri still casting a spell of some sort?
Yeah, you see Yuri get up and he says, "I'm sorry, Adonis. I tried to stop them, but they are too powerful. My spells are weak. I have been casting them all the next day before."
Can you do something to take care of that one over there? And then I step up and I walk past him and I look towards the two having the altercation. I would really, really like for you all to kindly leave. I really don't want things to get messy.
You hear
It's
Go ahead.
already a costly toll for the mistakes you're making here. So please
you
follow orders.
You hear the imp cry. He goes, "I'm a fucking demon! No one can stop me!" And then you can see his hands explode into fire as he tries to punch you. You can do a couple of things here, but you will have to try to dodge this. You can use a move of trying to keep your cool. If you have a different move, you can try to do that. This will be a fiery attack of 2 harm. So this is going to be very powerful as he lets loose and aims his fiery gaze onto you.
Okay.
I have a quick question. Since
Yes.
would Adonis be in my web?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
I believe if somebody's in my web, I get +1 on going to lend a hand. So if there's a moment, I'm not much of a fighter. I prefer witnessing fights from afar. But if there's a moment that it seems like I could step in to lend a hand, I'm like standing there at the ready to potentially lend a hand
Okay. So
with
you
a
will
+1.
Yes, so go ahead and roll for me. When you roll lend a hand or get in the way, you will roll with circle. Actually, it says here that you roll after Adonis. So what we'll do is we'll have Adonis choose what he wants to do, and then we'll have
Okay.
you roll lend a hand. And if you succeed, you give them a +1, or if you want to do a -2, you could do that as well.
Okay, perfect. I'm standing at the ready.
Yeah. So
All
Adonis, what do you
right.
want to do here?
Is he in mid swing or he's getting ready to swing?
Yeah,
That's the
it's
question.
mid swing. You see
Oh,
it
well.
coming.
Okay. I'm going to try to dodge only because I don't want to wreck this establishment. Um, I'm starting to get a full hold on my emotions, but in a place where emotions are on all high, I kind of just lose it. So I'm going to try to dodge, but if it hits me, it's going to proc something else.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your blood here.
Come on, baby. That's a 5. So a 7.
Okay, hold on, but Celine will help now. With your lend a hand, go ahead and roll your circle. So your circle is night. So that will be 2d6 +1 for me, please.
Okay. And then I get the +1 because he's in my web, or do I give that to him?
We'll add it to yours. So we'll add
Okay.
a +1 to whatever you roll.
So I rolled an 8, +1 for night is 9, +1 for him being in my web as I'm aiding him is a 10.
Okay, so that will give Adonis a +1 here. So Adonis manages to get out of the way, and then you can essentially do something to supplement this. What does this look like as Celine is helping Adonis dodge this attack?
Well, Adonis and I have danced before, right?
Mm,
And so I just sort of, dancing's all about just movement of weight and leading and following. And I'm just going to kind of guide you to
okay.
the side. And I'm sort of hanging on your shoulder a little bit.
You see that
Effortlessly,
Mhm.
it happens. I don't fight it. It's almost like second nature. I'll follow it up.
You see the imp just falls flat on his face, and immediately the fire extinguishes as he rolls around on the ground. You can see that 2 vampires have grabbed either hand of the fairy here and have restrained her, essentially. And she is struggling and crying out. You can see that she is in a frenzy. It seems that the 2 of them must have had some kind of a disagreement.
Can I, since the imp fell flat on his face, can I restrain on the ground?
Oh yeah, you get that for free. You can
Okay.
pounce right onto him.
Be still. Please don't try that again. And I'll look up to Celine.
Darling, how do we get rid of them?
It's 2 ways. My way or your way.
Wh- what do you mean? You mean out the door?
My way is messy. Your way is
Not
out
in
the door.
not here. Don't,
Yeah,
we can't
no.
we can't there's already a mess. Monty's gonna have quite a night cleaning.
Biting
Right?
on my lip, I draw
Monty's in
blood.
the back, just kind of rubbing the back of his neck, looking at the broken tables. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, I'll grip him tight. And I'll have my right hand right on the back, kind of where his brainstem is. And I'm going to tighten my grip and pick him up. It's where he's facing Celine. Um, if she has any last words for him, and I'll toss him out.
I
Okay.
don't even want to know your name. Get out of here.
I'll whip him around and look towards Monty to come with and escort him out.
Okay. Just as you have this person with your steel grip and you're turning towards the door, this is where the red door opens. And you see 3
Oh, what
people
now?
step inside. The first being Olivia, the second being Yasmin, and the third being Orion.
Oh, Olivia, darling, this is not a
Yeah.
good time, but come in.
It's the middle of the day. What is happening, Celine?
Monty, let in these folk. I glance
Sorry.
behind her, seeing the people that I don't recognize, and try to bite my tongue a little bit. Um, and they just first they were having a lovely argument. It was quite nice, and then it just escalated out of control. Come in, though. Come in. We can go around the back.
I've brought some friends,
Are
and
they nice friends?
And as you say
Olivia
that,
looks back at the two of them.
yeah, Olivia,
Double check.
Olivia like cinematically steps out
Are you
of the
nice?
way, and this is where Orion and Adonis lock eyes.
I think Orion was taking in this Mercury Cafe, just notating it, not remembering it from when he was here in this area last, but that's okay. Things change. That is the concept of time doing its job. Um, but as he begins to walk in, probably again Yasmin going first, and then Orion, just kind of taking in the inside of this cafe area, seeing Celine, putting two and two together that this must be who Olivia said might have information. Um, but then as he stops and looks and sees Adonis, Stella, I need the equivalent of a saving throw. What do I
Okay.
roll?
Yes, I love it. I love it. Okay.
I need to know if I fail this will not be good.
Okay, so there is a move called Keep Your Cool. I need you
Yes,
to
there
roll
is.
with spirit, please.
Oh, that's bad. My spirit is a 0. So we're gonna see what happens.
Yeah, if you roll a
Okay,
10
that
plus,
will.
then everything's okay. Everything's
I
fine.
rolled an 8.
Okay, everything is not fine.
It wasn't a
Okay.
fail, but at least it was an 8.
Okay, so you do manage to keep your cool, but
Yeah.
something happens. And we will find out what that something is after a really quick break. So please join us for a little break here. We are going to do some stretching, grab some water, all the fun stuff. And as we do that, please join us. And please also check out the Urban Shadows store. The Urban Shadows second edition is now available in print. 300 pages of beautiful illustrations and 2 awesome game worlds available for you if you want to start your own campaign. We'll be back in a little bit. BRB, everybody! And we are back. Thank you so much for your patience, everyone. Orion, as you lock eyes with Adonis, you feel great and terrible emotion flooding into you. Memories that perhaps you were not quite to awaken begin to pour through you, but also the training that you've received from Amelia, the veteran who found you and brought you into the fold of the society, echoes in your mind. What do we see as Orion, you begin to lose control, but you rein it in? What does this look like?
As again, Orion is scanning and sees Celine and these other irrelevant, for lack of a better word, individuals, and finds himself locking eyes on Adonis. It's almost as if everything stops all at once. His own bluish gray eye locking with Adonis's bluish gray eye, and it almost gets sucked into the void that's within the middle of that coloring, that blackness. And in that blackness, he hears screams, he hears howling, he hears grunting, he hears the sound of a life being taken, he hears uncontrollable sobbing. And as he is stuck in this reliving, Yasmin would see a hand slowly but surely reaching to the pistol, the revolver that is currently hidden away in the sheath. She knows that more than anything, this gun is silvered. Every bullet is silvered. It has one purpose and one purpose only. But as Amelia, this older lady, very strong, powerful, her words soothing him, remembering that sometimes the beast doesn't know, even though it acts. Sometimes the world doesn't know, even though it acts. You have to be certain that they know. And he, as he can't not look at the person he has not seen in over 10 years.
I believe at the same time, time slows. Um, I smelled a familiar smell, but the emotions are too high. Everything is happening while I'm trying to hold back at the same time. The grip on the back of the imp's neck gets stronger, almost deadly. In an instant, I flip the int around, just feeling that there's some, it's like a sense, almost sixth sense of danger that could happen. And I say, "Sit." And when I do, I spin the imp around and immediately throw it towards my backside, um, and hold it up as I begin to rile up. And I'm trying to hold back, but the emotions are high, and I need assistance.
Olivia, I imagine that you have felt this sort of energy before. You are no stranger to Adonis's nature. You know that there are perhaps only moments away before something escalates and something terrible happens, before the beast wakes up. What does Olivia do?
Oh, they do not want to get involved. They don't want to get involved because that implies that you care about people, and caring about people means you form relationships with people, and forming relationships with people leads to intimacy, and then intimacy leads to knowing too much.
Yes. With all
But
that, you do see that Yuri has moved and put his knee down into the back of the imp, essentially disarming them for the moment,
okay.
and looks to you and says, "You must do something."
Shut up.
Olivia, what's going on?
I'm thinking, Celine, just give me a second. And
One.
reluctantly, I think Olivia steps between the two people who may or may not be related in some way, who could say, and looks right at Adonis. And I am going to use a corruption move uh, called Eyes That Burrow. Mark a corruption to lock eyes with someone and force them to be still for as long as you maintain the gaze. Mark corruption again to make them forget the experience. I will not make Adonis forget it, but I will use Eyes That Burrow to keep him still and from lurching forward at this companion I've brought with me.
Okay. What does this feel like?
It's almost as an instant between Adonis and Orion, to where as Orion is reaching for his side piece, Adonis is also, his bones are beginning to snap. The grip is tightening on the back of the imp's neck, and you see one eye start to slide and gold start to show up, and canine is starting to grow out, and the jaws are starting to crack. And right before the snap of the neck, it's like time has stopped, frozen in midair. Can't do anything. It's like weightless. And I just locked eyes with Olivia, and the eyes go from gold to blue and somber, muscles relax on the face. It almost feels like I'm being, almost like your, out of body experience where your soul is being kind of pulled forward, but not in a harsh way. It's like a gentle cooling. The heat starts to turn to water. Everything starts to flow. And it's almost like Olivia is speaking to Adonis without speaking. He somehow knows the right things to say to pull the beast back into the cage.
And does this manifest physically as Olivia is doing this? Do we see any mark, as you do, of course, mark corruption and use this ability of yours? Does the magic flare?
Yeah, I think it's I think it is not something that can be used in perpetuity, right? Like she couldn't, because of the strain it puts on her physically and I imagine psychologically as well. It's kind of like you're keeping the, like she's keeping the building from falling over, the tree from falling over. And you know, her reluctance to do it in the first place is not helpful either. So her resolve is pretty weak. um, so yeah, I think as soon as Adonis gets back sort of into that shifting back from that halfway point back to how we saw him when the game started, is Olivia sort of falls forward into him and collapses. And that breaks the eye contact as well. So you can move.
I believe when that happens, maybe Olivia sees an image of, you know, how in the complete darkness, a dog or a cat's eyes are glimmering and it's the only thing you see. You'll see that kind of fade away. And Adonis will catch it. No, 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 no. And I'll look up at Celine. I snap. I completely ignore Orion at this point. I don't forget what happened, but it's almost like, did it happen? Is he here? Like, is what's going on? Looking towards Celine, like, did I mess up again? As a
Darling, you're
memory.
fine. I'll move over and kind of link my arm through Adonis's.
And I just look around and in disbelief because I had a memory of me messing up before in this establishment with not Celine, but older sister. And that took me back and I was very afraid. I don't know if a lot of people know Celine, but I feel like Adonis has a sort of respect level for Celine that's, it's mixed with a bunch of emotions, but fear is there very small in the back. He has reached the alpha wolf's part of his transformation before, but knows that someone that's been around for a very, very long time has more, the wisdom is more powerful than brute force. And I calm him, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And that's when I'll lock eyes with Orion and I'll say, no call, no text, you're gone for however long, and you greet me with silver. Silver.
As all of this has happened with Olivia falling into Adonis, Adonis apologizing to Celine, um, all Orion has been doing is just breathing. It is haggard. It is forced. This is not a calming breathing. This is not something that is done when you're just done for the day. You can just let go. This is a, if you don't breathe now, something else is going to breathe for you. If you do not get your shit together, something will happen. And he's trying his best to just let all of those possibilities go in places they don't need to be right now. And as Adonis begins to speak, that's when he looks back up. Why the fuck would I call you?
Blood is thicker than water. And I snatch the water off the table and start drinking.
I feel this tense energy tickling the back of my throat, and I'm trying to keep my face from smiling as I pull all of this negative energy in. I love it.
It sounds like you're
Oh.
feeding. Can I get a blood roll from you, Celine?
Yes.
Ah,
Oh, wait, that was good. 4 plus, oh, no, sorry, 4 plus 4 plus, what's my modifier? Hold on. Blood is 1, so that is a 9.
Okay. You have the same 3 options as before. You can have a +1 forward, you can learn secrets, or you can have them suffer no harm.
This is Adonis. And clearly, this person is someone he knows and wanted to call him. I know what it's like to wait for a call. Nobody takes any harm, but I need to know this secret. Who
Okay.
is this guy trying to come into my speakeasy?
As you taste the air between the two of these, you can easily get the sense that there is. Actually, I'll let them choose. What is the pervading, the most intense one emotion that both of you are feeling?
betrayal.
I'll say something really bad. And maybe this will like catch in. Still mad about that? Come on. How long ago was that?
So, what is the emotion that you're feeling, Adonis, if you had to just choose one right now?
I'm irritated. I'm irritated that. Wait, do I know that Orion's a hunter now? Or no?
No, you
Okay.
haven't seen
Okay,
Orion
great.
since
Great,
the day.
great. All right, so I'm in disbelief and irritation because I smell silver, but I'm at the point where I'm like, no matter what happened between us, this is my brother.
Irritation tastes like pop rocks. They
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
pop and fizz in your mouth.
yeah, and
I
then
hold
and
on
then
to your arm a little tighter.
then anger, so my muscles are tense, and then I'm just like, just because the bloodline missed you and you don't understand, don't mean you can just come up in here and act like this.
Um, all of the breathing that has been done to force all of this possibility, we'll call it, out of the picture. Suddenly, all that possibility is siphoned right back. It's not about him talking about them being brothers, not just brothers. If you look at their eyes, they have the exact same eyes. They have the exact same mustache and these are twins. These are twin brothers. And Adonis is the reason Orion is like this today. But it isn't about that. He sullied the name, the existence of why Orion has been put on this path, insulting the person that he killed, the person that meant more to Orion than anything,
I don't
on
even
their
remember what happened.
birthday. Doesn't matter. Gun has been pulled out, and I'm aiming it at his leg.
Whoa,
And
whoa,
I'm
whoa. You see Yasmin step forward and trying to put their hand onto the gun to lower it. Hey, boss, remember, we're here on a mission.
Mission.
And
Yes, mission?
as you say that, you see that in the background there's a shuffle as vampires and werewolves begin to work to escort both the fairy and the imp out of the
Oh,
establishment.
thank goodness, darling. Well, drinks. We'll have some drinks on the house. Let's put out some refreshments.
You see Yuri stand up, dusting off his hands, and as he turns, he faces Orion. And Orion, you recognize this person, but not as Yuri. This is Edgar.
as Edgar. Um, he it is taking there's so much happening right now, and at the end of the day, while he might not be a beast or a vampire or something, he is human, and humans feel, and they feel astronomically. And while all he wants to do is shoot as many times as he can, because none of that will equate what he has done to Canaan, all he can do is look see this Yuri person, notice who it is, and just Yasmin, that's him. That's does he see the necklace? Does he see anything about him?
Yes, you see the necklace, and the necklace holds a pendant made out of moonstone, and that moonstone looks like a perfect copy of the one that's in your pocket.
The two that's in my pocket.
Yep.
Um um he looks back at Edgar, trying to ignore Adonis and Celine even in this moment.
I
As he
refuse to be
sees
ignored. I'm going to pivot so I'm more in your eye line.
Yeah, so you
Um,
see this vampire dressed very smartly, very classy, step in the way, and Yuri
This
just
is my
sort of
establishment. You can't just ignore my question about your mission.
mm, um he just there's so much happening at once and he is trying to figure out what becomes priority.
you see, in case it helps, you see Yuri move to the bar and sit down and pour himself a drink.
um Breath looks back to Celine. Your establishment, your rules. Fine.
Just no violence in here. The discussion's fine though. You
Him. I need
Yuri?
him. Edgar.
As you say
Who the hell is
Edgar,
Edgar?
Yuri slowly turns his face. You see the side of his face with the burn scar first, and that instantly clocks a memory of you. You going over files, you searching for the wizards, and seeing Edgar's profile. He looks almost exactly the same, but 10 years older. It's been 10 years since anyone from the society has seen Edgar, since the accident. But you look now at him and fear crawls onto his face. Celine, it permeates the air. It is thick and delicious. You can sense that Yuri is afraid for his life. He puts up his hands slowly and he says, "My name is Yuri. I don't know what it is that you want from me."
Yeah, his name is Yuri.
I don't
Oh,
have
no, Edgar
time
here.
to play these games right now.
I'm shaking Olivia as this is happening. and like not violently shaking, but just
Right.
waking her up.
5 more minutes.
Just cradling her, trying to give her water. Like you gotta get up now. Okay.
Orion,
And-
you get the sense that I was gonna try to stop you, but I like this fear.
Mm.
I kind of want to let this play out.
Uh,
I'm still like mission. Hello. What?
Oh yeah. Mission.
Yeah.
Really quickly, Stella, for my sake, just so I understand,
Yes.
am I here to bring Edgar back? Am I here to handle Edgar? Am I here to take what he has? These are all different objectives.
Yes. So, Orion, you, part of the Mage Breakers, the leader of the Mage Breakers, it is your task and your mission to acquire all 4 pieces of the thing. And you know that Edgar, now known as Yuri, has the thing on a necklace around his throat. The means of which you will require to obtain this are
Mhm.
all yours. You
Gotcha.
are authorized to use lethal force.
Great. Love that for me.
Not in this establishment.
Not in this establishment. He will look, and again, out of respect, at the very least, Celine gets that. He will look back to Celine. He has something that my society needs. I'm going to get it one way or another. Doesn't have to be in your establishment.
Society.
I ain't
Mission.
fucking talking to you. And he looks back to Celine.
Okay, so as Adonis asks this question, Adonis, you can roll me Mortalis. You appear to have a 0 in it, so just roll me 2d6.
You appear to suck at
Ew.
it, so go ahead.
It's a 4. It's a 4.
A 4. Okay,
Yeah.
you've never heard of the
Hey.
society.
Yeah,
The
society mission
Everything you talk about is in
Yeah.
quotation marks.
thing. What?
Darling, I have to say you look strikingly similar to my friend.
Yeah.
I don't condone stealing or violence here, but if he has something of yours, by all means, I will not step in the way of you retrieving it.
It's the only reason I'm here. I'm going to get it and go. He makes a pointed look at Adonis when he says that.
Well, you don't have to go.
I bite my tongue.
As you should. And he looks back to Edgar. We can make this as messy as you want or as clean as you want. Honestly, I'd rather make something else be a problem. So, you can either give me the stone or whatever part you have. Let me know what Phoebe is, and we'll be on our way.
I whisper to Olivia. Olivia, by messy, he meant like emotionally
what?
compelling, like an argument, right? He wouldn't do anything here, would he?
Excuse me,
Wouldn't-
Adonis.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No.
Steps back, regains her footing, and pushes away from him, and is like, what did you? I'm sorry. What did you say, Celine?
Olivia, apparently, he has something of your friends.
Who?
Okay,
What-
Orion is he wouldn't harm a fly. The guy is. Listen.
Olivia looks skeptically at Adonis. It's like,
He wouldn't harm a fly.
Yuri, wait, did you miss it? Olivia, Yuri
I
has something of
I was
Orion's.
a
As
little
And
they
Orion's
suspicious,
clearly
like-
related to Adonis.
As
Yeah.
Edgar is not responding,
Oh, wait, hold on. So Edgar,
okay.
sorry, I didn't want to talk
Who's
over it because
Edgar?
it's so
No,
juicy.
no worries. No worries. No worries. No worries.
Who the
So
hell is Edgar?
you see Yuri.
Phoebe.
There's an
Wait.
audience. There's
Yeah.
an audience. The clientele that frequent my establishment and are let
Everybody's
into
like-
my sanctuary are clearly invested in this with me. There's like somebody's sketching a fan fiction in the corner as we speak.
Yeah, Monty's doing like the 2015 version of live tweeting on like Facebook or whatever. Just using fictional names and all that. But yeah. So Yuri quietly sips his drink as this conversation's going on, and he looks over to Orion. You see that he has blood coming down the side of his face. Whatever altercation that happened here, he participated in it. And you see an old man. You see a tired man. And as he focuses on you, the sound of the glass clinking against the bar top begins his words. Well, I suppose there is no reason to continue to hide from my past. Yes, you may know me as Edgar, but the people here know me as Yuri. I have served this community for the last 5 years to make amend, repent. I regret deeply the events that transpired 10 years ago, and I tried my best to stop them.
You helped them. All those people dead. All the crimes y'all committed. I already dealt with 4 of you. Sorry, 2 of you.
Whoa.
don't
I
know.
stand up. Dealt you. Wait. First of all, 10 years ago, you come here and ask me for a place to stay, and now we air quoting everywhere, and you did all this mumbo jumbo and stuff. You do all your little flickety flaps with your fingers, and you end up killing people. And now you're in here using this establishment and my city as a whole. And first of all, What do you mean you dealt with someone, Orion?
At that, the hand that doesn't have the gun, I just split out, and mystically a machete appears.
Okay, you know magic tricks.
I
So
swing it, and it stops at your neck. It is no longer in my hand, but it is hovering at your neck.
I bite my lip until it bleeds. And I'm just like
I bite my lip too.
Well, if everyone else
I
is doing
flick
it.
my hand. I flick my hand, and the
Yuri
machete
bites his lip.
disappears.
I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
okay, I gotta compose myself. All right, I think a low, raspy, not a growl, but like a tinge voice starts to crack. Don't do that.
You ain't the
Took
only
me
one.
a long time to calm down. And I smile, and then I wink, and I'm like, all right, you know some tricks. So what does that mean? You take all this time to come back. You're threatening people that's been here living fine before you showed up, and all this trouble is starting to happen. Now what? Catch me up on the past, what? How long has it been?
I need to be very, very clear with you. I owe you nothing. As a matter of fact, you owe me everything. But we're not going to talk about that right now. Right now, as my friend has stated, I'm on a mission. It does not concern you. Go back to your damn kennel. And I look back at her.
Okay, but first,
Edgar's
look
like
to Yuri.
lifting up a
Yeah,
hand, trying to
yeah.
speak, but then you're like, but first he puts his finger down. Go ahead.
Excuse me?
Yuri, if you're getting ready to get chopped up, magic tricked away, or whatever, you owe me, and I need payment before that happens.
Well, I am hoping that I can perhaps come to a compromise.
All right, great. You want your little gumball machine thing around your neck? Why don't you give it to him, and then we can call it a day.
He takes another long sip of his whiskey, and then he turns over to the group of you and says, Hunter, do you know the story of the witch stone?
Hunter!
GM, do I know the story of the Witchstone?
No. So the details you know are the accident, 4 people, you took out 2 missing.
2 more. Yep.
All
Yeah,
4
and
pieces back together, bad.
real
Wait,
bad.
I feel like as a gossip, would I know anything about this story?
Ooh, yes. Okay, let's do a roll here. Oh my god, that's so right. You are a vampire. You're old.
I've been around.
You're
Yeah,
ancient, my guy.
you're ancient. I'm sorry, that was such a mean thing to say. Yeah, you know a
I
lot
mean,
of
it's
stuff.
true, but I'm gorgeous.
Okay, so let's get a heart. You are stunning. Let's get a heart
Wow.
roll here. I will lean into your
Okay.
charisma. Your
Can
roll for
I-
gossip.
Can I do a help?
Yeah.
With my knowledge from the library and a collection of relics therein.
Yeah,
think I-
absolutely. We're
I
gonna.
might need that help. I rolled a 5 + 2 for a 7.
Okay. So what that means is, you could offer to lend a hand, Olivia. It will
I guess we could
unfortunately
have
only
researched,
give a
like
1.
researched it at the library,
Yeah.
or maybe you were just unwittingly standing near me when I told you all this gossip.
Mm-hmm. What I'm trying to say, Vanna, is you could mechanically offer to help, but it'll only give a +1, and it's essentially the same.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we'll say here is that you'll know something. I'll just give you a fact. But for what Celine knows, you have heard about an incident 10 years ago. You don't know what the Witchstone is, but you know 10 years ago, a group of wizards came together to steal an artifact known as the Witchstone, and it led to a catastrophic explosion that took out a few blocks. So a lot of people died. This was quickly covered up, So it was essentially a rumor through the supernatural world, but it was kind of like, oh, bad gas leak or something like that on the news. And for Olivia, your little special tidbit that I'll give you is that you would have learned, perhaps from talking with Celine about this thing sometime over tea and emotions, or a tea, two different kinds of tea.
TNT, yeah.
TNT, yes.
Dynamite, yeah.
Yeah, you would have known that the catastrophic explosion happened because of a spell going wrong. So probably some kind of an extraction spell going wrong.
Extraction.
Yeah.
Darling, Olivia, is that when the ballet studio vanished?
Do you mean
Remember, I was telling you about
Do
that.
you mean exploded, Celine?
Well, Cordelia's ex used to dance there, and then it was just the news didn't cover it at all.
But you told me the rumor yourself that the
Oh,
spell,
well, yeah,
that
well,
the
obviously
spell
it wasn't just
backfired.
yeah, it wasn't random. There was magic and wizards.
I think you're a little too excited about
Oh,
the
sorry, you're right.
devastation of 3 city blocks.
Oh no. Yes, 10 years ago.
That doesn't matter.
Well,
Time doesn't heal all wounds.
I look at I look at the brother. Yeah.
Yeah, just long gash
Little on the
marks.
nose.
Yeah,
And how-
it's not like a stare, it's like a
Yuri will speak up and say, the Witchstone was created in the 17th century. Some people believe it was created by Nicolas Flamel, the Frenchman thought to have created the Philosopher's Stone. It is theorized that whoever created it, whether or not it was Nicolas Flamel, created it to seek the purest antithesis to evil. Catholicism at the time pointed to the four horsemen. So what is the opposite of the four horsemen? War is peace. Famine is abundance. Conquest is leadership. And death is life. I was trying to do the right thing. I've realized that Phoebe was in over her head, that it was wrong for us to try to take the witch stone. The extraction spell that we used required total faith in the mission, and my heart had faltered. I tried to challenge Phoebe, but it literally blew up in my face. And he gestures to the horrific burn scar.
I'm waving over to I'm like waving over to Monty. I'm like, write this down.
Just typing.
Do you
in
mind
his
if
phone.
I?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I figure someone out? I want to see if he's being truthful in that he tried to like stop Phoebe, like, or was he also a part of it?
Yeah.
Like willingly a part of it.
Go ahead, and when you try to figure someone out, roll with mind.
The labels. I at least have a +1 in that. Eh. That is a 10. 9 + 1.
Excellent. Okay. With a 10, you can ask any of these questions. Who's pulling your character's strings? Sorry, who's pulling their strings? What is their beef? What are they hoping to get from you? What does wow, these are worded kind of confusing. What are
I
they
get what you
worried
mean,
about?
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
So definitely two. That's kind of perfect. What does Ed Yuri worry is going to happen?
okay. You can tell that Yuri is afraid that by giving this to you, some things might happen. he seems willing to part with it, but he's scared for the people around him. You get genuine guilt coming off of him.
Okay. Then the second one, because I got the hit, so I
Yep.
got X2. How can I put him in my debt?
Okay.
Wait. How could I put him? Yeah. How can he owe me
Okay.
after this?
He will go on to say, I have been trying to seek redemption all these years and do the right thing. Hunter, I am willing to part with this. And he holds up the moonstone. But first, you must do something for me.
And what is that?
He reaches over on the counter where there's a newspaper, and you hear the paper crumpling as he drags it over, holds it up so you can look at it, and his thick finger points at one of the headlines. You see that there is a headline that reads, scroll. Where is it? I wrote this down.
It gives me time to prep my notes.
Scarlett Cunningham is appointed CEO of Cyberberry, and he points at the picture of the smartly dressed woman and says, "This is Phoebe. I need you to kill her. You kill her, you take her stone, I give you my stone."
He looks at this headline, noting, putting the picture, clearly making sure that it is stamped upon his brain, his memory.
I will say,
he's gonna.
you recalling the files of these people you've been hunting, it is almost exactly the same Phoebe. A nose job, maybe. But she doesn't look like she has aged a day.
Where Yuri does look like he is aged.
Yuri has clearly aged 10 years.
Okay, which means he's not using this power to keep himself young, which further validates his guilt in understanding that he wasn't trying to be as bad. He's going to take that newspaper, fold it, and he's going to look directly in Yuri's eyes. A part of me doesn't want to believe that you just had a change of heart, but that ain't my story. I will get Phoebe because that's what I'm dictated to do. I will get your stone. But I warn you, if I have to come back after all this is done because of something you did, I don't miss. He looks at Adonis just for a moment when he says that, and then looks back to Yuri.
You will
Smirk.
find me here. I work here. I work in this community. I try to be guardian. You will know where to find me.
Make sure you say something. You don't forget. Leave that. Speaking of which, you might want to take a scroll past the behind the church past Prospect Park if you still remember how to get there, since you don't visit. Left you something there.
He doesn't look at Adonis when he says that. Anyone in front of Adonis would see the mask break for a moment, because in my head canon, I think Adonis is the older of the twins, by what, a minute, a two, 5 minutes, something like that.
Minute and 30 seconds.
Minute and 30 seconds, like, yeah, exactly. But still, he's Orion's the younger brother, and so there's a level of, but he will turn.
And I'll say, Ori, don't forget blood, man. I don't know what this hunter and this whatever's going on that you got going on, but Pop's always said, you don't draw something and you plan on using it, and don't live with regret. At least visit them. And that thing I left you in that church, no hard feelings. You should go visit.
He takes it in. Again, it's taken a lot for him to not be reckless with his words or his actions. Um, and he's not reckless, not usually, unless moments like this are clearly happening. But he looks at Adonis. I don't know what family means to you. Family doesn't do this. But that ain't the problem right now. You are not my problem right now, big brother.
Well, if I can interject, I would actually suggest that Adonis, Celine, Olivia, you go and assist the hunter. Phoebe is not a normal.
Absolutely fucking not.
I think it's a good idea. What about a catch up? I want to see
Phoebe
what all
Oh,
these
didn't
hunters are
want
about.
to, but now I do.
Phoebe is not a normal wizard. She has acquired great power. Do you see this? And he points at the headline that reads Mass Food Recall. This is her doing. And the unrest of the various territories. This is also her doing. I
That's
suspect
right.
that she is doing something with the witch stone that she has.
Oh, I smell something.
Um,
Hunter, I don't think it is wise if you go alone.
he's gonna look at Olivia. You're quiet over there.
Yeah, I want to know too. What do you say, Olivia? This
I mean-
time, don't give me the wrong one.
If we want to be passive aggressive Adonis, I can play that game.
No. I meant, look. Yeah, I meant more of. I need guidance on this situation.
Mm. Then maybe your tone could be a little different.
You're right. I'm working on it. We talked about it. Sessions on Mondays at 9 p.m. You made
Very
it
proud.
harder.
Very proud of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
The look of disgust upon Orion's face at the idea of this, even though that should be so, oh, yay, brothers in therapy. But nah, F that. And he's just looks to Celine. Um, I don't make it a point to work with the supernatural. But if he's saying that this is going to be something that affects all of y'all, really, this is your city, not mine.
If
I'm not sure what you're asking me.
I'm asking, are you going to let this Phoebe, or sorry, Scarlett Cunningham, ruin everything that you have created in the past, maybe 50, 60 years? Maybe more? You look young for your age.
Oh, darling. Well, I'm gonna kind of look around to Adonis and Olivia, and before I say this, I'm not sure we've officially met. Uh, my name's Celine. Before I embark on potentially dangerous missions to aid somebody in their pursuit of an item, I would like to know a little bit more about you.
Um, yeah. He is a person who understands respect at the very least. He will shake Celine's hand, and while Celine's handshake is probably initially stronger just by proxy of what Celine is, you know that he also has an equally strong grip. Um, and as he shakes your hand, Orion, leader of the Mage Breakers of this society.
Pleasure. I'm uh I'm the owner of the Mercury Cafe, and you're right in parts. And you can see for a moment that I hesitate, and then
Mhm.
I'd love to share something with you so we could get a little closer. And so I after a beat, I'll say, you're right and you're wrong. This establishment's quite old. We're hundreds of years. It's quite old. But I'm a little more recent to be its owner. See, my older sister held it before me. I I care about our city a lot, but I care about your brother a fair bit too. And so, could you handle yourself? And in this moment of kind of sharing this secret with you, I am I'm we're having a moment. And in this moment, if somebody comes to me and they're asking for a favor, advice, info, and I share a personal secret, I think you enter into my web, even if I ask for nothing in return.
Interesting.
So you're now part of my web.
He does.
Congratulations.
He
It's a
doesn't know
joy
what.
and an honor to have you.
Is she saying this out loud?
Not that last part.
Yeah. Listen, Celine seems like they can talk, and I love
mean-
that.
I mean,
Um,
honestly, she might, but no, she holds it in because this does seem interesting. And
Yeah.
interesting things only happen every few decades. And so I'm sort of here for it.
That's fair. I think that in the handshake and them establishing a trust. And also, he doesn't know what she means by "I care a lot about your brother." As a emotion gathering empire vampire.
Vampire?
Uh,
Yes.
as you say that, and maybe it's put wrong, maybe he understands it wrong, but you get for a moment a touch of sadness, um, a a guttural loss, and then almost a sense of again that betrayal in the sense that you get to have something that you took from me. Oh, okay. If that's what he was gathering from it.
Well, he protects. I think Celine's very in tune with emotion and feeling the sense of betrayal. I I'm gonna pause a beat and say he protects my speakeasy
Is this out
and my
loud?
bar. Yeah, I said this out loud. He keeps me safe.
This is my territory. We have kids everywhere.
We don't. Not the two
We
of us.
don't.
There are
But
kids here, not in the
yes,
bar.
not in
I'm
the
gonna
bar.
stop
No,
talking.
absolutely not. No, no, it's good. We we don't do that here. But we follow rules and regulations, especially Celine's. Well, we have. I own. I run a community center, and I don't know how long it's been since you came back. If you snuck around or whatever in your little society or the hunters things that you do, but it's different. You should take a stroll. I have a little old lady, Cornelia. She brings me sandwiches. Kids have basketball tournament coming up, and mom and pops is going to be there supporting it. We got to keep this area safe, and look, I'm sorry what happened. Okay, I don't remember it, and every time you yelled and screamed and moaned and cried about it, the emotions weren't there then because I don't understand. I didn't understand. All right, look, let's break the ice. Lean, get your gourd out. You're gonna love it. I mistakenly took someone away from Ori. I coming of age, we didn't know. It was held secret in our family. I didn't know it was in the bloodline. Thought we were both normal. Heard stories, great grandfather, something of that nature, maybe even grandmother. Both had some run-ins, and the apple didn't fall too far from the tree. And when it happened, I kind of lost control. I was it's a flood of emotions. It was everything. It was hatred. It was happiness, sadness, orgasmic even. And it just things happen. Next thing you know, I'm motionless, standing over two bodies. Not one. One moved, the other didn't. Fast forward to today, I'm controlling it with help. I look towards Olivia, Celine, everybody around me. I didn't get to protect you then, but I protect them now. Not asking for your forgiveness. I'm not asking. I am asking for you to check in. I don't know what this hunter stuff is, but
What he's not saying is that it happened on our birthday. What he's not saying is that it was my lover. What he's not saying is that when I left, he never fucking called. What he's not saying is when I left, he never fucking texted. What I'm saying, you don't get to act like that.
listen,
Your life is shut the fuck up for 2 seconds and let me speak. I left because of you. And I would love to have came back. You did this to me. And I never even got a fucking sorry until now. So no. I don't care if we're brothers. I don't care that we have blood. I'm going to do this job. You're going to help me because this is your damn place. This is your damn home. And then I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave so this bullet with your name on it doesn't touch you. That is all you get from me, brother.
What happens when the order comes out for you to take me, huh? For those like me, since we're not kind anymore. You gonna think twice, or you just gonna pull a trigger?
I might.
Fuck me. What about mom and pops, huh? What about them? You keep in contact with them? Well, since you're popping up on that, you go tell them yourself. I did think about it. I didn't have the balls to tell you that. I gathered everything together. Behind the church, past Prospect Park. I didn't call because well, it's figuring stuff out. I locked myself away from everybody. I was feral. Anyway, all right. Mission. Wizards. Just what I needed. Tournament's on Saturday, so can we get this wrapped up?
And as you try to cut the tension, you realize the light in the room is getting a lot brighter, and it's like the sun has like gone up like 6 notches and is blaring through the windows, and the windows are open, and there's these birds that start perching on the
Olivia, I
door
don't
frame.
like this.
And you look at Olivia, and she's on the tips of her toes, her head thrown back, her mouth is like frothing, and her eyes are rolled back in her head.
And that is where we're going to end our session for tonight.
Oh no!
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you so much to Magpie Games for sponsoring this 2-shot of Urban Shadows, The Witch Line, a limited series adventure. I know. But you know what's the wonderful thing? You can come back and join us next Monday at 8 p.m. Where's my calendar? 8 p.m. Eastern Time on April 7th for the finale and also the second episode of this series.
You
Thank
don't got
you.
to be the finale. Like,
Not
you don't
the
got to say it like
finale.
that.
I
Not,
mean,
not the
yeah, I
Listen,
mean,
finale.
just say
it,
it's part two. Like, we'll see.
yeah. We'll see. You know what could happen. So many things, so many possibilities. But to round out the night, we're gonna go about the table. Please tell me who you are, where we can find you, and what your favorite part of today's session was. And we'll start off with the wonderful Anna Margaret.
Hello, I'm Anna Margaret. You can find me everywhere online at It's Anna Margaret. I make a lot of nerdy lifestyle and tabletop content. I loved everything about the session. I think one of my favorite parts was getting to have Celine enter last, meant that I got to watch with all of you all. And I think if I could pick a second favorite moment, it was when Kripard pointed out that the chat were the other patrons of my speakeasy, because yes, you're right, we're all witnessing this, and so it was perfect. You're in my speakeasy, and that might be one of my favorite parts. Thank you again for having me.
Thank you so much. Please follow all these wonderful performers. I'm adding all their links in the chat. Click, 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 click. Okay, next we've got Crit Bard.
Hey everybody again, I am Omega, also known as Crypt Bard. I have been Orion, the traumatized hunter, as we have seen, holding things in for 10 years. Does the body good, girl. You can find me again everywhere at Crypt Bard, except for the places I'm not. I do way too much in this space, so just check out my socials for what I'm doing next. My favorite part, I mean, obviously just being able to be brothers with Frank, with Technique over here. It's always a good time. Always literally love that. But also, I think specifically something that really brought me joy was Vanna and the way that you shut Adonis down. I can like visually see how that happened. I said offline, like I'm excited to see how this Oracle shows up with this group. So I'm very very excited to see what happens. What's happening with Olivia. Also, we cannot let her suffer alone. So that's me. Goodbye.
Thank you. We'll pass it on over to Frank.
Oh, why me? Why me? It's so much good. Anyway, hey, I'm Frank or Technique. Yeah, just come by the Twitch channel. I talk about everything that I'm doing and stuff. Voice actor and actor, and got some auditions coming up. Ooh, hopefully, cross your fingers. But on that note, this cast is bomb as hell. Okay, that's all I gotta say. I've worked with some people before that I considered. I was like, wow, I don't think it can get better than this, but this cast slapped. It slapped hard, and I really want to continue this. So please, somebody make something happen. Other than that, you can find me on twitch.tv/technique or Instagram at Frank Ellerby. Or Blue Sky is where you're gonna find most of my stuff. I don't really post on that other app much anymore at all, unless it's a sponsored thing that I have to. Other than that, it's here. Favorite parts? Why do I gotta pick one? I'm not picking one. God, I love something about every character. First of all, the relationship between Adonis and Olivia is great. I love it because it's like when when you think werewolf, you're like a big macho barbarian wolf that is alpha, and it's like going to tear everything up and eat hearts and walk around howl at the moon. But the fear that he has with pissing off Olivia, I freaking love it because it's just like I don't know what all this Oracle can do, and I don't want to find out type shit. It's just like I've glimpsed anyone that can shut the beast down. It's got to be powerful. Celine, God, it's like you were made to play a vampire, Anna Margaret. Like you were made for it. You're godlike at it. I really love it. I love your aura. I love how you're like, oh, this is bad, but it's so good. At the same time, it's just, it's lovely. And obviously, Omega. I mean, we don't have to. You're a man of like I said, when it comes to acting, you got it. It's easy to improv with you. The emotions are there. I feel very safe when we have those intense moments. There's not a question in my mind what's going on, and that says a lot because there's times where I have to question people. Believe me, I'm not going into it, but Stella knows what's up. So with you, it's really great, and I love the dynamic. The brothers, the intense back and forth between the brothers is there. And I love the push and pull situation instead of just pushing. And it's great. And this whole cast is I don't want this to be the end. And Stella, your storytelling, you've evolved, and I didn't think it was possible. You have evolved. Your storytelling is great. The way you speak is very crystal clear and easy to consume. And you got me wanting more as part of the cast, like I was an actual like viewer. So thank you very much for that. Anyway, sorry, long winded. Bye.
Oh my god, thank you so much. Don't be sorry. I appreciate you. And then we've got the wonderful Vanna. Hello.
Hi, hello. I'm Vanna or Havana. You can catch me at twitch.tv/Vanna, VANA. And what were we saying? What do we say? Sorry, I was like emotionally invested in what everyone else was saying. I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
You can say whatever you want. You can say what makes
Okay.
you happy, what you liked about the
Puppies.
session. Ooh, puppies
No,
are
this-
good.
No, this was so fun, and I haven't done an AP in a while, so I'm so grateful, Stella, for bringing me on, and I just could not have picked better people to get to do a little comeback two-shooter with. So thank you guys. First time playing with Anna Margaret. You're incredible, and playing the character of my dreams. And the brother relationship was like, it is the epicenter of this story, and I'm so stoked on it. Is the exactly what you said, technically the push and pull, because it was coming in hot and then pulling it back and then going back in hard, and I'm really excited to see how it develops. And what I love about it is I think they're trying so hard to be so different from each other, or they're so convinced they're so different from each other, but they're behaving in the exact same way.
I was literally typing this shit, dude.
They
Oh
are
my god.
twins. They are
They're twins. That's
inside
such
and
a
out.
hard dynamic.
Inside and out. Yes. So I love you guys are crushing it. And Stella, you have amazing storytelling, and also you just like make me laugh and shock me, and that remains true always. So thank you for having me. Oh, muted.
Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. I'm Stella Luna on Twitch, Stella Luna TV on all their social media. I'm a TTRPG producer and performer. I do this all the time. So you can find most of my information over on my Blue Sky at stellaluna.tv, stellaluna.tv, where we'll be doing more of this stuff and others. That's going to be it for us. Please join us for next week at April 7, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday. Yes, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Magpie Games.